Mark drops the line in the middle of our quarterly review meeting. 12 people are sitting around the conference table, including 2 VPs I've never spoken to before. His voice cuts through my presentation like a blade. Just remember, Sarah, you're replaceable. We all are. The room goes silent. My throat tightens, but I keep my expression neutral. I watch the VPs exchange glances. Nobody defends me. Nobody even shifts uncomfortably. Mark leans back in his chair, arms crossed, wearing that smug half-smile I've seen 100 times. I close my laptop slowly, fingers trembling just slightly. Understood, I say quietly. The meeting continues as if nothing happened. But something inside me fractures. That night, I sit at my kitchen table with a glass of water I never drink. My laptop glows in the darkness. I open a new folder and title it, Documentation. Then I start typing everything I remember from the past 5 years. After the meeting ends, Mark finds me by the elevator. He claps my shoulder like we're old friends. Hey, no hard feelings, right? Just keeping everyone grounded. His smile doesn't reach his eyes. I force myself to smile back, even though my chest feels like it's burning. Of course, I reply. My palms are cold and sweaty. The elevator doors open and I step inside. As they close, I see him laughing with someone from finance. Everyone saw what happened. Nobody said a word. That silence tells me everything I need to know about where I stand. When I get home, I pull out a cardboard box from my closet. Inside are 5 years of performance reviews, printed emails, and handwritten notes. I spread them across my dining table. My hands shake as I sort through them. There's a pattern here, and tonight I'm going to find it. I brew coffee and settle in for a long night. I wasn't always this cautious. When Mark first hired me, I thought I'd won the career lottery. He recruited me personally from a smaller firm, promised mentorship, and said I had real potential. During my first week, he bought me coffee every morning. He introduced me to clients as my right hand. He made me feel valued. I worked harder than I ever had before, determined to prove he'd made the right choice. Late nights didn't bother me. Weekend emails felt like opportunities, not intrusions. I wanted to be the employee he believed in. For 2 years, everything seemed perfect. He'd joke with me about office politics, share insider tips about upcoming projects, and always gave me the most challenging assignments. You're the only one I trust with this, he'd say. Felt special. But looking back now, I see the cracks I ignored. Like that night, I stayed until 2 in the morning fixing his calculation error before a board presentation. The next day, he presented it as his own breakthrough. I told myself it didn't matter. We were a team. I was so wrong. I became the ultimate team player. Birthdays. I organized them. Overtime. I volunteered. Crisis calls at midnight. I answered on the first ring. When Mark needed someone to run his quarterly numbers, I did it without complaint. When he couldn't make client meetings, I spoke on his behalf. Once, he claimed a family emergency and disappeared for 4 days. I covered every single one of his responsibilities. Later, I found out through Facebook that he'd gone to a golf resort in Arizona. When he returned, tanned and relaxed, he thanked me casually and moved on. I never mentioned what I knew. I thought loyalty mattered. I thought he'd remember. During performance reviews, Mark praised my dedication. You're absolutely essential to this team, he'd say, writing glowing comments. But when it came to my raise, the number barely covered inflation. Budget constraints, he explained with a sympathetic shrug. Next year will be better. I believed him every single time. Mark loved making promises. You're on the partner track, he told me over lunch one day. My heart soared. Partner meant equity, decision-making power, respect. Next year you'll be running this place, he said another time, winking like we shared a secret. Just keep your head down and keep doing what you're doing. So I did. Kept my head down. I worked harder. I sacrificed weekends, relationships, sleep. I turned down job offers from competitors because Mark said I had a future here. Then came the promotion announcement. It arrived in a company-wide email one Tuesday morning. The new director of operations position had been filled. An external hire named Derek, someone with half my experience and none of my institutional knowledge. I wasn't even considered. I wasn't even told it was available. I sat at my desk, staring at the announcement, feeling something cold and heavy settle in my stomach. That afternoon I scheduled a meeting with HR. I needed answers. The HR meeting destroys me. Janet from Human Resources pulls up my file with apologetic eyes. "I'm sorry, Sarah, but you weren't on the candidate list for that position." My voice stays steady. "Why not?" She hesitates, clicking through screens. Then she shows me a note from 18 months ago. Mark's feedback, submitted confidentially. Technically competent but lacks leadership presence. Better suited for execution than strategy. My vision blurs. Leadership presence. That's corporate code for, keep her in her place. Janet offers platitudes about future opportunities, but I barely hear them. I thank her politely and return to my desk. That night I create a new folder on my desktop. I title it, Operation Exit, and password protect it. Inside I begin compiling everything. Emails where Mark took credit for my work, messages showing his manipulations, records of promises broken. If he wants to keep me down, he'll have to work for it. I'm done being quiet. I'm done being convenient. The game just changed, and he doesn't even know it yet. 2 weeks later, an expense audit lands on my desk. It's routine, I've done dozens before. But this time something catches my eye. Line item 73. Consulting services, $4,800. The vendor name looks familiar. I cross-reference it with our approved vendor list. Nothing. Then I remember. It's Mark's college friend, the one he golfs with. I request the invoice. When it arrives, my pulse quickens. The formatting is wrong. The tax ID doesn't match our records. The signature looks rushed. This isn't just irregular. It's fraudulent. I sit at my desk, staring at the document. This is dangerous territory. Reporting this could backfire. Mark has powerful allies. But ignoring it makes me complicit. I think about that meeting, about his smug face calling me replaceable. My decision crystallizes. I forward the invoice to my personal email. Then I print 2 copies. One for my records, one for later. I file the original properly and continue the audit as if nothing's wrong. But everything has changed. During a late night at the office, I'm searching for an old contract when I stumble across something else. A strategy report submitted to the board 6 months ago. I open it and freeze. I wrote this. Every word, every graph, every recommendation. But Mark's name is on the cover as sole author. My name appears nowhere. The board praised it. They implemented 3 of the 5 recommendations. Mark received a bonus. I scroll through the document, my jaw clenched. Then I check the file properties, the metadata hidden in the document's code. There it is. Original author, Sarah Mitchell. Last modified by Mark Stevens. He didn't even bother creating a new file. He just deleted my name and added his. I screenshot everything. The metadata, the timestamps, the email chain showing when I submitted it to him for review. This isn't collaboration. This is theft. And now I have proof. I save everything to an encrypted cloud drive. Then I keep working as if I found nothing. Patience, I tell myself. Timing matters. Mark's sabotage was never obvious. That's what made it so effective. He'd schedule client meetings, then cancel them without telling me, leaving me looking unprepared when clients called asking why I didn't show. He'd forget to CC me on email chains, then act surprised when I missed critical information. "You need to stay more connected," he'd say, shaking his head sadly. In team meetings, he'd make jokes at my expense. "Sarah's great with details but sometimes misses the big picture." People laughed. Seemed harmless. But the pattern was deliberate. I started documenting everything. Every cancelled meeting, every missing email, every subtle dig. I downloaded our entire team's chat history. 18 months of conversations. Reading through them reveals the pattern clearly. Whenever I succeeded, he downplayed it. Whenever I struggled, he highlighted it. He was building a narrative, and I was the supporting character in his story. But narratives can be rewritten. And I'm a much better writer than he realizes. The final piece falls into place in the break room. I'm refilling my coffee when I hear voices from the hallway. Mark's voice, and another I don't recognize. Freeze listening. He'll start shadowing me next month, Mark says. Kid's got potential, even if he's green. A younger voice responds. Thanks, Uncle Mark. I won't let you down. My stomach drops. Uncle. Mark has been grooming his nephew for a position. My position. We'll phase Sarah out gradually, Mark continues. Nothing dramatic. Just redistribute her key projects. Let her credibility erode naturally. Then we'll restructure. They laugh. I stand there, coffee pot in hand, feeling rage crystallize into something harder and colder. This wasn't about my performance. This was never about my competence. This was about making room for family. I pour my coffee slowly, deliberately. Then I walk past them in the hallway, offering a pleasant smile. Morning, Mark. He startles slightly. Oh, morning, Sarah. I wonder if he realizes I heard everything. I wonder if he cares. Either way, his plan just became my advantage. I start my counter-move quietly. No drama, no announcements. I begin reaching out to executives in other departments, offering assistance on projects outside Mark's domain. The CFO needs analysis on a potential acquisition. I volunteer to help after hours. The VP of Marketing needs data visualization for a board presentation. I create something stunning. I don't tell Mark about any of it. Within weeks, I'm building relationships he doesn't know exist. Senior leaders start recognizing my name. They see my work directly, unfiltered by Mark's narrative. One afternoon, the Senior VP of Strategic Initiatives sends me a message. Your analysis on the Henderson acquisition was exceptional. Have you ever thought about moving into leadership? I stare at the message for a long moment. Then I type, I'd be very interested in discussing that. She replies immediately. Let's schedule coffee. That evening I smile for the first time in months. Mark thinks he's controlling the board. He has no idea the board is watching me now. The game is shifting and he doesn't even feel it yet. I enroll in a weekend leadership certification program at the State University. It's intensive, 6 months, every Saturday. Nobody at work knows. I tell Mark I have family commitments on weekends. He doesn't ask questions. The program is transformative. We study organizational psychology, strategic decision-making, conflict resolution. I'm surrounded by people who take leadership seriously, not as a title but as a skill. The course instructor, Dr. Patricia Chen, is incredible. During a break one Saturday, we're discussing a case study when she mentions she used to consult for mid-size firms in our city. I worked with your company actually, she says casually. About 4 years ago. My attention sharpens. Really? What was the engagement about? She hesitates professionally, then says carefully, let's just say not all the leadership recommendations were followed. There were some concerning patterns with middle management. I don't say Mark's name. Don't have to. She continues. If you're still there, just remember, document everything. Paper trails matter. I nod slowly. I'm learning that. She gives me a knowing look, and I realize she remembers exactly who we're talking about. During my weekend research, I discover something buried in our vendor contracts. Mark approved a consulting agreement 2 years ago with terms that violate our procurement policy. Any contract over $5,000 requires dual approval. Mark signed a loan for $8,200. It's technically a breach, though possibly an oversight. But combined with the fake invoice, it establishes a pattern. I spend Sunday afternoon reviewing our entire vendor database. I find 2 more irregularities, both tied to Mark's discretionary spending. Nothing massive enough to be obvious, but enough to raise questions if someone looked closely. Monday morning I draft an anonymous email to our compliance department. I attach screenshots of the problematic contracts, with key sections highlighted. No accusations, just questions. Can someone clarify the approval process here? The signature authority seems inconsistent with policy. I send it from a burner email account through a VPN. 2 days later, I hear whispers about a compliance review. Mark looks annoyed but not worried. He should be worried. Compliance reviews tend to expand once they start. And I've left them a detailed trail to follow. The quarterly report meeting becomes my opportunity. We're reviewing third quarter performance, and Mark is presenting our department's metrics. He's embellishing as usual, making our numbers look slightly better than reality. Then he mentions a cost-saving initiative that significantly improved efficiency. I recognize it. It's mine. He's presenting it as his. I wait for the right moment. Then I raise my hand politely. Mark, can you clarify the timeline on that initiative? I'm trying to remember when we implemented Phase 2. He blinks, caught off guard. Sometime in July, I believe. I nod thoughtfully. Actually, I have the implementation docs here. It was June 15th. Would you like me to pull up the details? The room shifts. Executives lean forward. Mark's face flushes. Yes, June. My mistake. I smile pleasantly and sit back. The seed is planted. After the meeting, the VP of Operations catches me. Sarah, can you send me those implementation docs? I'd like to review the full case study. I nod. Of course. I'll send everything this afternoon. That night, I receive a Slack message from legal. Can we talk? Mark calls in sick the morning of our biggest presentation of the year. Client pitch, 8-figure contract, 6 months of preparation. Char panics. The presentation is in 3 hours. I'm the only person who knows the material well enough to deliver it. Can you handle this? Our department head asks desperately. I pretend to hesitate. It's a lot of pressure, but... Yes, I can do it. I've been preparing for this moment without realizing it. I know every slide, every data point, every potential objection. I've actually improved several sections Mark refused to change. Now I can present them my way. I arrive at the conference room early. I load the presentation, adjust the lighting, test the remote. When the clients arrive, I greet them confidently. No notes needed. I know this material better than anyone. The presentation flows perfectly. I field questions smoothly, building rapport, demonstrating expertise. When I finish, the room applauds. The client CEO stands. That was outstanding. You clearly know your material. Smile. Thank you. I developed most of the strategy personally. As I pack up, I notice Mark's boss watching from the doorway. He nods slowly. Message received. The presentation changes everything. Within hours, I receive congratulatory emails from executives I've barely spoken to. The client signs the contract that afternoon. Fastest decision they've ever made. Our CEO mentions my name in the company-wide announcement. Mark returns the next day looking pale. He finds me by the elevators. I heard the pitch went well. I nod. Very well. The client loved it. He forces a smile. Great. Good job covering for me. I meet his eyes steadily. I wasn't covering. I was leading. His smile falters. We ride the elevator in silence. But the shift is unmistakable. Later, the VP of Operations pulls me aside. That presentation was exceptional. Honestly, Sarah, why weren't you leading this project from the start? I choose my words carefully. I've been contributing significantly, but my role was more behind the scenes. He frowns. That needs to change. We'll talk soon. As I return to my desk, I pass Mark in the hallway. His jaw is clenched. He knows something fundamental just shifted. The question is whether he'll adapt or fight. I suspect he'll fight. That's perfect. Fighting makes people careless. Mark intercepts me near the parking garage that evening. His voice is tight with barely controlled anger. You went behind my back. You undermined me. I stop, turning to face him calmly. I delivered a presentation when you were unavailable. That's my job. His face reddens. You made me look bad. You deliberately showcased yourself while I was out sick. Keep my voice level. I showcased the work. Our work. The client didn't care who presented it. They cared about results. He steps closer, voice dropping to a hiss. You ambushed me, Sarah. Don't pretend this was innocent. I hold his gaze. The old me would have apologized, smoothed things over, made him feel better. The new me recognizes manipulation when I see it. I showed up and did excellent work, I say clearly. If that threatens you, maybe you should ask yourself why. His mouth opens, then closes. He's not used to me pushing back. This isn't over, he finally says. I nod once. You're right. It's not. Then I walk to my car, heart pounding but head high. I don't look back. Mark emails me at 11 that night. The subject line reads, "Disappointed." I open it warily. "Sarah, I thought we were a team. I've invested years mentoring you, and this is how you repay me. You've changed. The person I hired would never have been so calculating. I'm deeply hurt by your recent behavior." I read it twice. It's a guilt bomb designed to make me doubt myself, to pull me back into his narrative. The old me might have fallen for it. I compose my response carefully. "Mark, I appreciate your past guidance. However, I've recently discovered several concerns about project attribution and credit distribution. I believe we should discuss these issues directly with HR present to ensure clarity moving forward." I attach 3 bullet points, each backed by specific examples and dates. I'm not accusing him directly. I'm documenting facts. Then I do something that would have terrified me a month ago. I blind copy the compliance officer and save the entire chain. His email is now evidence, not leverage. 2 minutes after I hit send, my phone buzzes. It's him calling. I silence it and go to bed. Some conversations are better in writing. The next day's team meeting is explosive. We're discussing routine project updates when Mark suddenly snaps at Jordan, our newest junior analyst. "Did you even read the brief? This is completely useless." Jordan flinches. We all do. Mark's never yelled like this in meetings before. I followed the template you gave me." Jordan stammers. Mark's face is red. "The template is a guideline, not a crutch. Use your brain." The room goes silent. Then I notice Rebecca from HR sitting in the corner. She's officially here to observe team dynamics, as part of some initiative. But her presence right now feels significant. She's taking detailed notes. Mark continues ranting for another minute before seeming to realize he's lost control. He sits down abruptly. "Just redo it." After the meeting, Jordan approaches me, eyes watery. "Did I really mess up that badly?" I shake my head. "Your work was fine." He's dealing with other pressures. That afternoon I receive a calendar invite. Subject: Organizational Restructure Discussion. Confidential. Attendees: me, the VP of Operations, and the Chief People Officer. Date: Friday. My heart races. This is it. Thursday afternoon, Mark storms into my office without knocking. He throws a manila folder onto my desk. "This isn't over, Sarah. You think you're clever, but I have documentation too." I look at the folder without touching it. "What is this?" His smile is sharp. "Evidence of your insubordination. Your refusal to follow proper protocols. Your unauthorized communications with other departments." I meet his eyes calmly. "You mean my cross-functional collaboration on company-approved projects?" His jaw clenches. "Call it what you want. I'm taking this to HR. You're going to regret." He stops mid-sentence. I follow his gaze to the doorway. Our CEO, Michael Brennan, stands there with an unreadable expression. "Mark, we need to talk." Mark's face drains of color. "Michael, I was just in my office." "Now." Michael's tone leaves no room for argument. Mark shoots me a venomous look, then follows Michael out. I sit frozen, pulse hammering. Through my office window, I watch them walk toward the executive wing. Mark's shoulders are tense, his stride uneven. 5 minutes later, my phone buzzes. Text from Rebecca in HR. Meeting tomorrow still on. Don't worry. Exhale slowly. Whatever's happening, it's bigger than I thought. Friday morning, the office feels different. Whispers follow me down the hallway. Mark's office door is closed, lights off. At 10 o'clock, I'm called to the executive conference room. Inside, I find the VP of Operations, the Chief People Officer, and our General Counsel. They gesture to a seat. Sarah, thank you for your patience, the CPO begins. We've been conducting an internal investigation into several concerns raised through compliance channels. Mark Stevens has been suspended pending the outcome of that review. My heart skips. I see. The General Counsel continues. We're asking you to step in as interim director while we complete our assessment. Your recent performance and cross-functional leadership have been noted by senior management. The VP adds. The client presentation last week was outstanding. We need someone capable in that role immediately. Process this carefully. What about Mark's return? They exchange glances. The CPO speaks gently. That's uncertain. We're reviewing multiple issues. But regardless of the outcome, we need strong leadership now. I nod slowly. I understand. Thank you for the opportunity. As I leave, my phone buzzes. Text from a former colleague. Did you hear? Mark got suspended. I don't reply. This isn't about celebration. This is about survival. I walk back to my desk, aware that everyone's watching me now. Their whispers follow me, but I keep my head high. Some are supportive. Others are skeptical. I can't control their reactions, only my response. Mark's office is cleared overnight. Monday morning, I arrive to find his desk empty. His nameplate removed. His files boxed and sealed. Has already transferred his access rights to me. I receive the keys from security. Feels surreal. I spent years watching him command this space, feeling small in his presence. Now it's mine. I don't sit in his chair immediately. Instead, I stand at the window looking out at the city. Everything feels fragile, temporary. What if this is a test? What if they're watching to see if I'll fail? Then my phone buzzes. Email from the CFO. Sarah wanted to congratulate you officially. Your strategic thinking is exactly what we need. Looking forward to working together. I read it 3 times. It's real. This is real. That afternoon, I move my things into the office. I take down Mark's motivational posters and replace them with a clean whiteboard. I organize the desk my way. When I finally sit in the chair, it feels less like victory and more like validation. I belonged here all along. He just couldn't see it. I spend the rest of the day reviewing department priorities and planning my first official meeting. The work grounds me, reminds me why I'm here. Not for revenge, but for purpose. Mark's nephew, Tyler, resigns the following Wednesday. No dramatic exit, no explanation. Just a brief email thanking everyone for the opportunity. I never spoke to him about what I overheard. I never had to. When Mark was suspended, the unofficial training arrangement evaporated. Tyler clearly realized there was no path forward. Part of me feels guilty. He's young, probably didn't fully understand his uncle's manipulation. But I also remember that conversation in the break room, the casual discussion of phasing me out. He knew enough. A week later, I hear through office gossip that Mark has filed a wrongful termination claim. The company's legal team is handling it. I'm not involved. According to Rebecca from HR, his claim centers on inadequate documentation of performance issues. But our compliance investigation found substantial evidence of policy violations. His claim is denied within 10 days. It's faster than I expected. That tells me everything about how solid the evidence against him is. I don't celebrate, but I do sleep better. The fear that haunted me for months, that somehow he'd find a way to win, finally releases its grip. Can breathe again. I can focus on building rather than defending. The official announcement comes in late October. Effective immediately, Sarah Mitchell is promoted to Director of Strategic Operations. The salary increase is significant, 42% higher than my previous role. There's also equity options and a seat in senior leadership meetings. I read the email 3 times, letting it sink in. I've been doing the job for 6 weeks already, but seeing it formalized feels different. Real. Permanent. My first meeting as official director goes smoothly. I present a restructure plan for our department, eliminating redundancies and improving communication. The executive team approves it unanimously. After the meeting, Michael Brennan pulls me aside. You've handled this transition with remarkable professionalism. We made the right choice. I thank him quietly. That evening, I move the last of my belongings into Mark's old office. My office. There's one item remaining from his tenure. A framed quote on the wall. Everyone is replaceable. Remember that. I stare at it for a long moment. Then I take it down. The words that once intimidated me now feel hollow. They represent a leadership philosophy I reject completely. I won't lead through fear or insecurity. I'll lead through trust and empowerment. That's the legacy I want to build here. I hold the frame in my hands, running my thumb over the glass. This quote defined how Mark led. Through fear, through insecurity, through constant reminders that we were all expendable. It made us compete instead of collaborate. Kept us small. Could throw it away. Donate it. Bury it in storage. But I choose something different. I package it carefully, address it to Mark's home, and mail it. No note. No explanation. Just the frame returned to sender. When I lock my office door that evening, the wall where the quote hung is blank. Tomorrow I'll hang something else. Maybe a whiteboard for collaborative planning. Maybe photos of the team. Maybe nothing at all. Because leadership isn't about reminding people they're replaceable. It's about showing them they're valuable. Mark was right about one thing though. Someone was replaceable. It just wasn't me. I smile as I turn off the lights and head home. The office is mine now. And I'm going to lead it completely differently. Because I finally understand, the best revenge isn't destruction. It's becoming everything they said you couldn't be. And thriving. I think about Jordan, the junior analyst Mark yelled at. Tomorrow I'll schedule time with him, review his work properly, mentor him the way I wish someone had mentored me. That's how real change begins. Not with grand gestures, but with small, consistent acts of respect. I drive home through the city lights, windows down, breathing deeply. For the first time in 5 years I feel genuinely free.